folks, not only is the egregiousness of the shooting of Cameron Ely reason for why we filed the suit that we have today, but the manner in which they responded to finding Valerie Ely in a circumstance where she obviously needed medical help. Some of the officers completely ignored her. As a matter of fact, they step over her as if she wasn't there. And when an officer indicates that there might be a possible stab wound to the chest, the other officer tells him and commands him, look, that's not important to us right now. That's not what we're here to deal with. And they fan out to make sure the area is secure. There's no problem with that. But what of Valerie, who is in obvious need of medical help? What should she expect from folks who we call our heroes, right? There was no medical attention given, not in the first 20 minutes, not in the first 40 minutes. As a matter of fact, even right before the circumstance where law enforcement officers confronted Cameron, they indicate that no one has even touched Valerie. Nobody's checked her pulse. Nobody's checked her breathing. Nobody's tried to find out if there's any medical care that can help save her life. As a matter of fact, when the medics are here, right outside this house on October 15th of 2019, they refused to allow the medics inside to make an examination of Valerie to find out her well-being, a woman who suffered from a stab wound to her lung. Certainly, it's a devastating wound, but one that someone can live for quite some time if they receive appropriate medical help, which was not rendered. They left Valerie's body here overnight. They left Cameron's body here overnight outside. It is one of the most egregious displays, in my mind, of malfeasance that a law enforcement can make. And for far too long, it has been thought that these are problems that only exist in the black community or in brown communities, right? But I'm here to tell you today that this is an American problem and one that we all have to join together to do something about. Yes, we expect that these officers will be held accountable. Yes, we hope that the DA will actually do an appropriate look at the objective evidence and make sure that they do the right thing, not only to honor the lives of Valerie and Cameron, but all those who are similarly situated.
We have noted some contradictions that occurred in the DA's report seeking to justify their use of deadly force. And part of that is their claims that Cameron had made the statement that he had a gun, and he also that they told him to get down. Well, if you looked at the transcript that we have given, it's pretty clear that even though there were a lot of statements made by the police, there is no statement at all, none, where Cameron has said that he had a gun. There's no statement at all that says to get on the ground. And so if he didn't have a gun and he didn't have a weapon, what was the basis for shooting him? They may very well have thought that he was involved in some other activity involving the mom, but that's not a basis to shoot and kill him. You have to have a lawful basis to do that. And in this particular matter, there was none. So obviously we have filed a lawsuit in large measure because of this, our view of the civil rights violation, not only for the failure to provide, because of the use of deadly force. There's 22 shots, okay, front and back, with no evidence at all that any shots were fired back at them, that they were the only ones doing the shooting, that they're the only ones that claim that they saw something, heard something, when there's no evidence of it. So our view is we ought not accept the official position without some corroboration. And there's no corroboration whatsoever. And that is the basis why we have taken the position that we have. If you listen to those tapes, you would not have heard what the police claim they heard. So from our point of view, there wasn't an independent evaluation of the evidence on the part of the DA. The DA, now granted, the DA was looking to see whether there was a basis to prosecute the police. But I will tell you, if the police shot Cameron in the manner in which they did without any corroboration for the basis, that's criminal conduct, period. And whether or not the DA took that position, obviously it did not. They basically didn't take that position, but we're not accepting the DA's position as being the correct word.
Losing two of the greatest loves of our lives in one night shattered us. As we grieved our mother and brother deeply, over the past year, we were unable to pick up the pieces due to the intentional deception, ineptitude, and disregard for human life demonstrated by the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department and the conspiratorial obstruction of truth and outright lies put into print by the Santa Barbara DA's office. We are bringing this suit to hold them accountable for their actions and inaction, causing the deaths of our brother and mother, so our family can get the peace and justice that we seek, and so another family never has to endure this tragic injustice and trauma. As we waited in agonizing confusion and disbelief for the past year, hoping to get some kind of information or update from the Sheriff's Department since their last contact with us on October 29th, 2019, exactly 2 weeks after we lost Mama and Cam, we knew something had gone wrong. Our last contact with detectives from the department involved us giving them information about a driver's license and a hat that we found at the scene that belonged to someone who was not our brother. They assured us they would follow up and give us an update. We never heard from them again. Their silence forced action on our part, and only after filing this suit were we able to gain access to their autopsies, the Coban audio recordings from each deputy's mic, and body cam footage. It was this new information that told us that our instinct that something had gone terribly wrong was correct. Things were even worse than we had imagined. Our beautiful mother, the brightest light we've ever known, never received any medical aid. We watched body cam footage of the deputies arriving on scene, and upon seeing our mama on the ground, injured and in need of immediate care, they stepped over her as if she did not even exist. At no point did they ever come back to render aid, check for a pulse, or even say her name. They left her for dead without following any of their protocols for care. They admit on the audio to never touching her, not once, to check for proof of life or to assist her. Our hearts break every time we think that the simple act of checking her pulse, administering CPR, or immediately calling medics could have given us back our mom and allowed our father many more years with the love of his life. I'm sorry. Our brother, funny and intelligent, with the biggest heart, had his life wiped out in a hail of gunfire. The audio proves that Cameron complied with deputies and had his hands up when they chose to shoot him 22 times. Cameron was unarmed and injured when the deputies encountered him. He posed no threat. They killed him anyway. The autopsy proves that most of the shots that killed our little brother were in his back. The audio combined with the autopsy is also conclusive proof that the statement that the DA released, stating the shooting was justified, is nothing more than a series of lies strung together to protect the deputies from their actions and to conceal the truth of what truly happened to Cameron, our brother. If the deputies had reacted appropriately, Cameron would still be lighting this world up. With his humor and his music, we would have our baby brother, and our dad would have his only son and his pride and joy by his side.